There are mornings when you wake up and something feels different. Not dramatically different. Not in a way you can easily explain to a doctor, but something quiet and unsettling, like a fog that won't fully lift. You open your eyes, and for a moment the room feels slightly softer than it should. Your thoughts come slowly, like they're moving through water. You reach for your glasses. You reach for your coffee. You wait for clarity to arrive. And sometimes it does, eventually. But lately it takes longer. Maybe you've noticed your hands feel cooler than they used to. Maybe your legs feel heavier when you climb the stairs. Maybe you sit down in the afternoon and feel a strange, dull weight behind your eyes. Not pain exactly, but pressure, a thickness, a slowness. You are not imagining it. And if you've been quietly wondering whether this is just aging, whether this is just the price you pay for the years you've lived, I want you to stay with me today. Because what I'm about to share with you is not about medication. It is not about willpower. It is not about doing more or pushing harder. It is about feeding your body something it is desperately, quietly asking for. 3 vegetables, already in nature, already waiting, already holding inside them the exact chemistry your aging brain and your aging blood vessels need to begin breathing again. Your body still remembers how to heal. It hasn't forgotten. It's been waiting patiently, faithfully for the right signal. Tonight, you can begin sending that signal. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your body as an ancient garden. When you were young, that garden was wild and alive. The rivers ran fast and clear. The soil was dark and rich. The roots were strong. Every cell in your body was fed, oxygen rushing through your vessels like clean water, rushing through mountain streams, carrying light and energy and warmth to every corner of you. But over time, something happens to every garden that isn't tended with the right care. The rivers begin to slow. The walls of the vessels, the delicate, flexible tubes carrying blood to your brain, your eyes, your feet, your heart, begin to stiffen. Scientists call this endothelial dysfunction. But in simple terms, it means the inner lining of your blood vessels loses its ability to stay smooth and open and responsive. Think of a garden hose left in the summer sun for too many years. Once soft and flexible, now brittle, slightly narrowed. The water still flows, but not the way it once did. And when blood flow slows, even slightly, everything downstream suffers. Your brain, which consumes more oxygen than any other organ in your body, begins to feel the shortage first. The neurons, those incredible ancient communicators, begin misfiring. Connections slow. Memory becomes elusive. Concentration scatters like dry leaves in wind. Your eyes, which depend on delicate capillaries smaller than a strand of hair, begin to lose their sharpness. Your feet and hands, the farthest points from your heart, begin to feel the cold, the numbness, the tingling that no one quite explains to you. This is not just aging. This is a garden that is thirsty. And gardens, even neglected ones, can be revived. The roots are not dead. They are sleeping. What revives a garden is not complicated. It is consistent. It is patient. And it almost always begins with what you feed the soil. So, the first vegetable I want to tell you about tonight grows close to the earth. It has been used in medicine for over 5,000 years. Ancient healers in Egypt, India, Greece, and China all knew what modern science is only now confirming in laboratory studies and clinical trials. It is the beet, specifically the deep dark red root vegetable known as beetroot. And what it contains, in simple, humble, extraordinary abundance, is something called dietary nitrate. Now, I want you to hear this slowly because this is where the science becomes genuinely beautiful. When you eat beets, your body converts those natural nitrates into a molecule called nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is one of the most important molecules your blood vessels can receive. Nitric oxide is like a warm, gentle hand opening a closed door. It signals the smooth muscle cells lining your blood vessels to relax, to widen, to open. And when your vessels open, when that gentle expansion happens throughout your circulatory system, blood moves more freely. Oxygen reaches your brain more efficiently. Pressure drops. Warmth returns to the extremities. The garden begins to breathe again. Research published by scientists at the University of Exeter found that older adults who drank beetroot juice before exercise showed measurably increased blood flow to the brain's frontal lobe, the area most responsible for focus, decision-making, and cognitive flexibility. But you don't need to exercise. You don't need a juice machine. You simply need to eat beets. Roasted slowly in the oven with a drizzle of olive oil and a pinch of sea salt, beets become something deeply sweet and earthy. Or sliced thin and added to a salad. Or gently boiled and eaten warm with a squeeze of lemon. The effect builds over days and weeks, not overnight. This is not a pill. This is a conversation with your body. A slow, respectful conversation where you say, I hear you. I am feeding you what you need. Margaret was 73 years old when she first started roasting beets on Sunday evenings. She was a retired art teacher, and she told her daughter she had started forgetting the names of colors. Not the colors themselves, but the words for them. Cerulean, cadmium, sienna. They would hover just out of reach, like butterflies she couldn't quite catch. She had no dramatic diagnosis, just this quiet fading, this soft erosion that frightened her more than she admitted to anyone. She added beets to her meals 4 evenings a week, small portions, patient and consistent. And within 6 weeks, she told her daughter something had shifted. The words were coming back, not all at once, but coming, like light returning after a long winter. Her doctor had no explanation. Margaret smiled and said, I fed my garden. The second vegetable I want to share with you tonight is one you may have walked past 100 times in the grocery store without fully understanding what it carries inside. It is dark, leafy, slightly bitter, and deeply ancient. It is spinach. And before you move past that word, before the memories of overcooked gray childhood spinach make you hesitate, I want you to hear what spinach truly is. Spinach is one of the most nutrient-dense foods available to the human body. Per calorie, per bite, per handful, almost nothing in the plant kingdom delivers more concentrated nourishment to your aging blood, brain, and nervous system. Let me tell you what spinach carries and why it matters so deeply. First, folate, a B vitamin that plays a direct role in the production of neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that carry signals between your brain cells. When folate is low, which is startlingly common in adults over 60, those signals begin to misfire. Mood darkens. Memory slips. Focus scatters. The science connecting low folate to cognitive decline is now so consistent that researchers at Oxford University demonstrated that B vitamin supplementation, including folate, measurably slowed brain atrophy in older adults. But spinach doesn't stop at folate. It carries magnesium, the mineral that over 50% of older adults are deficient in without knowing it. Magnesium governs more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. It regulates blood pressure. It controls the electrical signals in your heart. It governs the quality of your sleep. And critically, it regulates cortisol, the stress hormone that, when chronically elevated, damages the hippocampus, the part of your brain where memories are formed and stored. When cortisol stays too high for too long, it is like acid slowly dissolving the garden's most sacred roots. Magnesium is the soil that neutralizes that acid. Spinach also carries lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that accumulate specifically in the macula of your eye. Research from the American Journal of Ophthalmology found that higher dietary intake of these compounds was directly associated with reduced risk of age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 65. Your eyes are not just losing their clarity randomly. They are asking for specific nutrition. And spinach answers that call. There is something quietly miraculous about eating a handful of fresh spinach sautéed gently in olive oil with a sliver of garlic. The warmth, the faint earthiness, the knowledge that what you are eating is traveling to your brain, your eyes, your nervous system, saying, I am here. I remember you. Let me help you remember yourself. Thomas was a 78-year-old retired engineer. He was precise, methodical, quietly proud. He had designed bridges for 40 years, and he told his wife that lately he felt like his own mind was developing structural weaknesses. He started adding spinach every day, not dramatically, just quietly and faithfully. 2 handfuls sautéed in the morning, a small salad at lunch, and within 3 months his wife noticed something before he did. He was completing the crossword again, not struggling through it, completing it the way he used to. He sat at the kitchen table one Saturday morning and looked at the newspaper and then looked at her and said simply, I think something is working. Type the word healing in the comments below if this is resonating with you. You are not alone in this journey. Thousands of people just like you are watching right now, rediscovering what their bodies are capable of when fed with intention. The third vegetable I want to share with you tonight is one that has been feared, misunderstood, and avoided by many, particularly those who have been told it might affect blood thinners or their thyroid. But I want to offer you a different perspective tonight, a fuller picture. The third vegetable is broccoli. And what broccoli does inside an aging body is something so quietly powerful that when researchers first began mapping it, they called it one of the most promising natural anti-aging compounds ever identified. The compound is called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is produced when you chew or cut broccoli, when an enzyme in the plant called myrosinase contacts a precursor compound called glucoraphanin. In that simple act, chewing, a biochemical transformation occurs. Sulforaphane is born, and sulforaphane does something extraordinary. It activates a pathway in your cells called NRF2. Think of NRF2 as a master switch deep inside your cells, a switch that, when activated, turns on the production of your body's own internal antioxidant enzymes. Not external antioxidants that you consume. Your own. The ones your body was designed to make. Enzymes like glutathione peroxidase, superoxide dismutase, catalase. These are your body's ancient internal firefighters, and as we age, their activity declines. The inflammation that accumulates in our vessels, our joints, our brain tissue, inflammation that drives memory decline, circulation loss, fatigue, nerve pain, and 100 quiet degenerations is partly a fire burning because the firefighters have grown weary. Broccoli, through sulforaphane, wakes them up. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University, where sulforaphane was first isolated and studied, have published decades of evidence showing its capacity to reduce systemic inflammation, protect brain tissue, improve insulin sensitivity in those with blood sugar challenges, and even cross the blood-brain barrier to directly protect neurons. The blood-brain barrier is one of the most selective gates in your body. Very few compounds can pass through it. Sulforaphane is one of them. When it crosses that barrier and reaches your neurons, it acts like a gentle ancient guardian, reducing oxidative stress, protecting the mitochondria, the tiny energy generators inside every cell, from the slow deterioration that dims your mental energy, your physical warmth, your spark. One important note, to preserve sulforaphane when cooking, steam your broccoli rather than boiling it. 5 minutes of steaming maintains the enzyme activity that creates sulforaphane. Or better yet, chop your broccoli and let it rest for 40 minutes before cooking. This allows the myrosinase enzyme to fully activate, producing maximum sulforaphane before the heat diminishes it. Small knowledge, enormous impact. Elena was 69 years old. She had lived with type 2 diabetes for 11 years. Her feet had begun to feel strange, a tingling, a numbness, a sensation like walking on cotton wool. Her circulation was poor. Her energy, she said, had dimmed like a lamp running low on oil. She added broccoli to her dinner 5 nights a week. Steamed, simple, sometimes with a little lemon and olive oil. Nothing complicated. Over 4 months, her fasting blood sugar began to stabilize in a way it hadn't in years. The tingling in her feet diminished. She began sleeping more deeply. She told her daughter one evening, quietly, almost cautiously, as if afraid to say it too loudly and have it disappear, "I think I feel like myself again." That is what healing feels like when it comes slowly and honestly. Not like a lightning bolt, like a sunrise. Now, I want to talk to you for a moment, not as a narrator, not as a voice on a screen, but as someone who deeply respects what you have lived through. You are not broken. Your body is not betraying you. What is happening, this fatigue, this fog, this slowness, this ache, is your body speaking a language that most of us were never taught to hear. It is asking for specific things, specific nutrients, specific compounds that evolution designed it to receive and that modern life has slowly removed from its path. Inflammation does not arrive overnight. It builds quietly. Over years of stress and processed food and sleepless nights and loss and loneliness and the accumulated weight of living. And it settles into the lining of your vessels, the tissue of your brain, the pathways of your nerves, not to punish you, but simply because the firefighters grew tired. You can begin sending reinforcements tonight, not with a prescription. Not with a supplement that costs $100, with 3 vegetables that grow from the earth, that carry inside them the same compounds that your cells have been waiting for in a language your body already knows how to speak. Beets for your blood flow, for the opening of your vessels, for the oxygenation of your brain, for the warmth returning to your hands and feet. Spinach for your neurons, for your memory, for your eyes, for the magnesium that quiets your cortisol and deepens your sleep and protects the sacred architecture of your mind. Broccoli for the inflammation, for the cellular protection, for the ancient firefighters waking up inside you, for the blood sugar, the nerve pain, the mitochondrial renewal, the quiet return of your energy. These three things together form something powerful. Not a cure, not a guarantee, but a direction, a conversation, a beginning. And beginnings are everything. I want to leave you tonight with an image. Picture a river at dawn. For a long time, the river moved slowly, silted, heavy with the residue of a hard season. The banks were crowded with overgrowth. The light barely reached the water. But someone came to the river and cleared away a branch, and then another, and opened a small channel. And the water began to move a little faster. And where the water moved faster, the light could reach it. And where the light reached it, life returned. Small fish, green reeds. The sound of water moving the way water was meant to move. That is what you are doing tonight if you choose to begin. You are clearing a branch. You are opening a channel. You are not rebuilding the river in a single night. You are simply letting it begin to move again. Your body still knows how to heal. It has known since the day you were born. It has carried that wisdom through every year of your life, through every difficulty, through every season. It has never stopped trying to heal you. It simply needs your help, your attention, your care. Healing begins when the body feels safe. And feeding yourself with intention is one of the deepest acts of safety you can offer to every cell inside you. Tell me in the comments below, which of these three vegetables will you begin with tonight? Is it the beet quietly transforming your blood flow? The spinach gently restoring your clarity? Or the broccoli awakening your body's own ancient defenses? Share your story below. Tell me where you are watching from. Tell me what you are hoping to heal. This community, these thousands of people who gather here every week, they are not strangers. They are fellow travelers. And there is something deeply healing about knowing you are not walking this road alone. Aging is not the end of renewal. Let me say that again because I want it to land somewhere deep in you. Aging is not the end of renewal. The science of cellular biology tells us that your body replaces most of its cells on a continuous cycle. Your liver regenerates. Your blood renews. Your gut lining replaces itself entirely every few days. The inner lining of your blood vessels can recover elasticity when given the right compounds. Your brain, even your aging brain, retains neuroplasticity, the ability to form new connections, to repair old pathways, to learn, to adapt, to heal. You are not finished. Not even close. The quietest, most powerful act of defiance against aging is simply this: choosing one meal at a time to feed your body with respect, with intention, with the knowledge that what you eat tonight becomes the blood that moves through your brain tomorrow, becomes the energy in your legs next week, becomes the clarity in your eyes next month. Every bite is a message. What message will you send tonight? If this video has reached something in you, if it has given you a small, steady flame of hope where there was fog before, please press the like button. Not for the algorithm, for the signal it sends to this community, for the thousands of seniors and caregivers and worried family members who need to find this information. Your like is a lantern that helps someone else find their way. And if you haven't yet joined this community, if you stumbled here by chance or by search or by someone you love who sent you this video, consider subscribing. Not because content needs to be consumed, but because healing is a journey. And this channel is a companion for that journey. Week after week, vegetable by vegetable, habit by habit, breath by breath, you deserve to feel well. Not someday, not when things calm down, not when you finally have time. Now, tonight, in the quiet of your kitchen, with a beet in your hand and a small, brave decision to begin, the roots are not dead. They are sleeping. And tonight you can wake them.